All right, well, I'd like to welcome all of you guys in to RX's QB Top 10 draft board here. As this is just going to be a short, probably like 10-minute video max on me. A couple of us are working on the draft class, but I'm kind of just doing a little series to kind of keep it more in-depth, for you guys. And so I just finished up most of the QBs for the draft class. And this is kind of the top 10 I came to for who I think will be the best out of this draft class to draft. This is not in order of where they sit, as there are some guys in here that were left out that are ahead of these guys. But I think these are the more intriguing guys to kind of follow along through this 20-odd week journey through the season and into the combine and, of course, into the draft. So this is the top 10 I'm rocking with here. This is in order. I probably should have put a draft grade on it, but I guess I'll just tell you. So the number one guy in the class is Sam Howell, quarterback, NC, North Carolina, 6'1", 225. And I do have a pro and a con next to each guy. And Sam Howell, I think, has the best arm talent in this class, just when it comes to throw power, and then hitting the tight windows as well. Is not the worst accuracy, but does not compare to one or two of the guys lower on this list. But I think that's definitely something he can develop, and with the right user, obviously, even the worst quarterback can look good. So I just think that it's really up to, you get a lot of intangibles of the throw power and stuff. His knock, I'd say, is his agility. Not that he's bad in the pocket, but just if he gets out of the pocket, he is not a threat. He's not like a sleeper threat either, like with, say, an Aaron Rodgers, where he can get out of the pocket even at whatever age he is and get 20 yards out of it. That's not really his ability, but definitely the number one guy in the class in terms of arm talent. Now, I have him as a top 5 grade here. As of right now, things are due to change, throughout the season and whatnot. But this is the preseason, week 1. Next week, we'll be coming with the running backs, and, we'll go through each position group. But anyways, let's get on to Spencer Rattler, who I do have below Howell right now, from Oklahoma, 6'1", 205. His big up is talent. I mean, this guy oozes talent. I mean, he really has shown a lot. The arm, the speed. I mean, the accuracy, questionable at times, but more likely than not has been great. And my knock on Rattler last year was definitely he looked overwhelmed at times. You could point to a few games he played where he just couldn't get it going. In a offense there in Oklahoma that is regarded as one of the best. That's tough not to see that, looking overwhelmed. I have Rattler as a top 5 grade as well. For these QB needy teams, I think those are the two guys who we're going to see go early, with a big chance for them to, flip flop depending on what you prefer. If you're looking for the, pretty much stationary, big armed guy, kind of like a Big Ben is what I'd give Sam Howell. Rattler, really kind of just a jack in the box of all traits. I mean, he can really do a lot. But if he could really lock in this season for OU, I think that he could definitely easily take the number 1 spot and be ahead of Howell just with how many traits he has. At number 3, we have Caden Slovis out of USC coming in at 6'2", 200. His big thing is he's accurate. Not the best arm, but a very accurate guy. Very similar prospect to Mac Jones coming out last year. Low ceiling guy, that's his knock on it, but accuracy. I mean, this guy can pinpoint throws all around the field. And then the upside, you're looking at maybe like a Drew Brees, right? But that's not a low ceiling. But, that's kind of the mold he fits in. Don't think he's that good, but, that's kind of the player I think of when I think of Caden Slovis. At number 4, we got Mark Willis of Liberty. Guy maybe not any of you guys have heard about or what, but Mark Willis has it all. I mean, this guy is a 5-tool prospect coming out. Talent, running, throwing. That's my big plus for him. Easy schedule in Liberty. Doesn't play anybody. So we're kind of guessing at what he can project to be. But I think if this guy translates well, which he has the tools to do so, I mean, he could be a force in this league. Get him in the right hands, right offense. I think he's – let me just do this quick. Caden Slovis, I got a grade of a top 15 pick, similar to Mac Jones, where you knew he was probably not going to go top 5, but how far does he fall? That's kind of the same boat I got Slovis in. Now, Mark Willis coming out here is just a great talent, but I think he's going to fall. I think he's a late 1 talent. and and it's like, what team does he go to? That can pick him in the later rounds. That's going to need a quarterback. The Steelers, I think, would be in that boat. Depending on how their season goes. Denver, I think, could be in that boat depending on how Locke plays. That's the type of area he's fallen into. And I think to get a talent like this, I mean, you don't really know what you're getting. It's kind of a question mark. But, you see the talent on Saturdays. Can he bring it to Sundays? That's really the big question with Mark Willis. Got a late one grade on him. Let's get into number 5. We've got Jaden Daniels. Big strap, man. I mean, 6'3", 185. He's got speed. He's mobile. Not like an Emory Jones or who's next, but Emory Jones is a monster all of his own. But Daniels, big arm QB with speed. Not the fastest guy, but I mean, he's got the turn and burn, get around the corner. And, he's got the big arm. He plays at Arizona State, so he's not playing a bad conference, not an easy schedule such as Mark Willis or, Desmond Ridder, who's further down on this list. So, he's got some snaps versus some big-name guys. And, he's looked impressive some games. Other games, you're wondering how. But I think this guy in the right hands, like a lot of the guys ahead, like Mark Willis, right-hand type of guy. I got this guy as a day 2 pick. Early second, though. I don't think this guy falls much farther than that. I know, it feels like there's a lot of not that many QB-hungry teams, but, by we get to the end of next year, there'll be 5 or 6 more teams who we can already tell you need another quarterback. So, I think that's where Daniels goes. He could be a sneaky day 1 type of guy if there's a heavy run on QBs, but don't really see it. And now at 6 here, this is kind of a reach on my end, but I think this is a cup of tea kind of guy. And what I mean by that is, if he's your cup of tea, you're going to value him a lot higher than if he isn't. Emory Jones is an explosive beast for the Gators last year. Not many knew of him because of Trask. He's going to get the start this year. You're going to be able to see the speed, and that's his big calling card. This guy is a demon out there on the field. He has got speed, acceleration, a lot like Lamar Jackson coming out, except we haven't seen his arm. We saw Lamar's arm. We saw him against top-tier competition at Louisville, so we kind of had an idea. It was a question mark, but it wasn't the biggest question mark because Emory Jones' arm is coming into this season. So we'll see, depending on how he plays at Florida, if he jumps up or if he jumps down in the ratings. But I have him at number 6. I have him day 2 guy, I think 3rd round, similar to Kellen Mond coming out this year, but he's a lot faster, not as good with the arm, I think. At least we have yet to see. So at 7, I got Bo Nix from Auburn. High level of competition for Bo Nix. That's his big up. He's played Bama, he's played Florida, he's played LSU, he's played a lot of these big SEC schools. But, his knock is does nothing special. He's just an average guy. At best case scenario, I think he can be Andy Dalton. So that's my problem with Bo Nix there at 7. That's really, we've seen him at the high level. He's been all right, had better games than others. But, when I watch Bo Nix, I don't see him do anything special. I don't say, wow, what a play he made. It's just like, yep, nice read. Oh, no, what's he doing there? At 8, I got Brock Purdy. I did not put Bo Nix's college in there either. He's from, I did. I did not put Brock Purdy's college in there. He's from Iowa State. And Iowa State really got the program back on track this year, mostly because they got as you can see, top 10 QB coming out this year in Brock Purdy, top 5 running back in Breece Hall, top 5 tight end in Charlie Kohler. Like, these guys actually have a legitimate offense for a Big 12 school. And I think Purdy, he's pretty well accurate. He's not even close in terms of accuracy to Caden Slovis. I just thought this was his biggest up. But the problem with Purdy, and like with a lot of these guys, down here, he crumbles under pressure. I mean, this guy just pressure in his face. I'm not talking about pressure in games, but just pressure in his face. I mean, he cannot handle it. Makes a lot of bad, dumb decisions, and you're just questioning yourself. And it really knocks a lot of the good that Purdy does. And at number 9, I got Desmond Ridder out of Cincy. Well-rounded modern-day QB, and what I mean by that is he's got the arm, he's got the running mobility. He's what you want in a modern-day quarterback. Low snaps and not a lot of good competition for Cincy. So, what is he really? I guess we'll know a little bit later into the season. Maybe he rises. I could see him falling out too. Just depends on what he does. I think he definitely has the potential and talent to, really, he should really beat up on the school Cincinnati will play. If he does that, I think he's definitely one to rise on this board. And then at number 10, can't forget the young king himself, Derek King, out of Miami. 5'11", 202, potential. That's his big upside. He's got the speed. You know what he can do with his legs. We really need to see the arm, and I think that's a lot of the theme now with these newer day quarterbacks. They're all a lot faster. You see a lot less of the Bo Nix and the Brock Purdy's of the world where they're just, they call them all processors. Everybody, it's how quick can you process. Now it's, do you have the ability, if the offense collapses, to get yards, to make a bigger play happen than what would normally happen with like a processor guy. So I think that's why you're seeing a lot of these guys jump ahead of the processor guys, because the potential is just so much higher there. You've seen it really revolutionize the game in the last 10 years, so I think that's really what they're swinging towards. But that's why I got Derek King there at 10, a couple other guys I could have put there, but I feel like, with the speed, he's definitely a guy who can jump in and out of ranges. I missed my grades after Emory Jones. Bo Nix, I got a 5th through 6 on him. Brock Purdy, 5th through 6. I think Desmond Ritter's more of a 3 to 4, depending on how he plays. He's got the potential more than those guys do. Those guys are more like, good backups, best case scenario, I think. And then, obviously, Ritter, 4 to 5. Derek King, right now I got him at a 6, but I think, and that's just a 6 based on speed. You can kind of move him around, do whatever you need to do in these modern-day offenses with him. But I think, say he takes that jump with his arm, he's easily one of the guys who could jump, and that's how it feels with Ritter and King and Emory Jones. These are a lot of guys that can jump depending on how they play. But, yeah, so that's it. That's my top 10. There's other QBs, obviously, in here that I didn't put on this list. But I thought these are the 10 most impactful guys probably coming out for our year 1 draft. Like I said earlier in the video, we will be having a running back coming out with week 2. Every week advance, we will have a new draft board video. I will hopefully have the draft class ready. Like I said, a couple of us working on it by week 3 when we'll be going over wide receivers. So hopefully that can be done. We're already almost done with the second round, so take a lot of time this weekend, grind it up, and we should be ready to roll. Thanks for watching, and this is kind of where we're at right now. Once we get through all the position groups, once a second one will come out, and I'll kind of talk about how in this mock or how this fantasy world, about how each quarterback did, what they improved, where they moved to, and I'll kind of change the ratings a little bit depending on that. It will still update in the scouting, so maybe a quarterback drops from an early 3rd to a late 3rd. You'll still be able to tell. Plus, if you watch these videos, stay informed. You'll know everything.